Welcome to yet another interesting package of CSR Digest. CSR Digest is a feedback mechanism put together by Total Exploration and Production Nigeria Limited to x-ray some of its corporate social responsibility program and projects to host neighboring and impacted communities. This episode you're going to watch and be interested. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ndum Ajie. Welcome to the discussion segment of CSR Digest. CSR Digest, like I said, is a program put together by Total E&P as a feedback mechanism to x-ray some of its social responsibilities to host neighboring and impacted communities. Today we are looking at various social responsibilities that Total has done in their host communities. And I have with me a public affairs analyst, a realist, a father, and a lecturer. Help me to welcome Collins Brown. Collins Brown, you're welcome to CSR Digest on RSTV.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Now, you look at the social responsibilities of Total E&P around OML 58, cutting across all the 16 communities in Ege. And when you go to Lele, you go to Olu, you go to Rumekbe, all these areas, projects and programs are scattered all over these places. Now, how do you look at the social responsibilities of Total E&P as it concerns economic growth of their host communities?
All right, thank you for that wonderful question. To be frank with you, comparing Total with other multinational oil companies resident in Rivers State, I think Total has is the best among all in terms of the corporate social responsibilities. I would also want to say that the evaluation of their programs in terms of developing the host communities, I think they have a wonderful programs for the development of the host communities.
All right. Recently, Total inaugurated several economic development projects. Like in Erema, they built a shopping mall that has to cater for the economic development of that community and their neighboring communities. If you go to Akaboka Market, you also see a gigantic project done by the same company. That project has so many lock-up shops for which people have, taken possession of, and economic activities have started in earnest. Now, have you been able, as an Agiman, have you been able to assess these two projects and see what economic benefit it has to Age people?
Well, actually, I would like to say this, that Age people has the responsibility of producing a viable economic framework or master plan with which Total would invest in. Now, the idea of those projects in the various communities, I do not see how precisely those projects captures the immediate needs of the people. Talking about the shopping mall at Erema, one might ask, how has that increased or improved the material condition of Erema people? That's an important question.
But no, when you ask that question, you also realize that there are traders, petty traders within Erema community. There are people who yearn to grow their businesses. And the idea behind this project is to capture those that are economically viable, those that are economically inclined, to ensure that these stores are made available to them. And when they are made available to them, they'll make use of it and expand their businesses through those stores. They might pay little to the community development committee, that's the CDC, to also maintain the edifice. Total has just dropped the edifice for them. The edifice has to cater for itself. The edifice has to be maintained through the money that will be accruing from these stores. That's the angle we're looking at it.
Yes, it's clear.
Yes.
But let us make one point clear.
Yeah.
The problem of Erema people per se is not that they lack some shops where traders could do some businesses. That's the angle I'm coming from.
So what's the problem then?
So what Erema people needs is industries, factories where the people can be employed, engage their own knowledge and power, receive some money at the end of the month, cater for the family, address the students issues and some other things.
Yes, fine. When you talk about such issues, I believe that it is a long-term plan embedded in the GI master plan, in the GI development master plan, for which its charter had been submitted to Total EMP. If you recall, in 2012-2013, there was this plan to build a brick factory, number one, another factory like glass industry, clay factory, that's ceramic industry. These are master plan that has already been embedded in the economic development master plan of EGI, for which its charter had been submitted to Total EMP, and it's a long-term plan. So, but immediately, the community was engaged in needs assessment, for which their community development committee, the CDC, submitted this, and Total met the need. So, how do you look at that?
Yes, like as I said earlier, that EGI people has the responsibility of developing an economic framework, okay, upon which Total can leverage on. Good. Now, the problem, like as I said earlier, is whether whatever economic master plan they have reflects the needs of the common people is a problem which we cannot associate with Total.
How do you now differentiate between working for an industry and being self-employed? How do you differentiate that?
All right, working for an industry, I see industry as having a greater capacity to employ more persons compared to the lock-up shops.
Okay.
Secondly, I also see the industry as something that has another phase of employment. For instance, if we go into glass, industry, some persons,
float
glass industry.
Yes.
If you are not employed there, you could deal. You could be a supplier.
Yes.
That's another.
The value chain is wide.
That's it.
Right.
That's where I'm looking at that. That's what the people needs most.
Good. Now, how do you now look at the 2013 charter, for which this float glass industry was to be sited somewhere between Akapta, Obiebe and Egeta, because the raw material was very close. And of course, don't also forget that Total did a road, within Obiozimini town, straight to the stream, where the sand, the raw material for the float glass industry, yes, was discovered,
yes,
by experts.
Yes.
Now, Total took a very good step by making a road straight to the stream, so that the raw materials could be easily, got. Now, in the wake of the crisis in 2014, all these ideas were kept in the cooler. How do you look at the security situation and economic development?
Yes, as I have a little knowledge about conflict security and development. As a matter of fact, I have masters on conflict security, and development from University of Success. Now, I want to say this, that there is the physical security and there is the human security.
Yes.
Now, we know that no meaningful development can take place in an atmosphere of war and conflict.
Yes.
A good example is EGI. Everybody could testify about that every program that Total had for EGI was put on a halt. Now, evaluating the current situation, yes, we have fragile peace. Because it is a fragile peace, that is why there must be some efforts that we should put to make sure that peace returns.
How? How do you put the effort?
Fine. I suggest one way to put the effort is to invest on human security. Under human security, we talk about economic security, we talk about political security, we talk about social security. So under the economic security, we're talking about, do the people have employment opportunity? As a matter of fact, I have an article that is about to come up, which is tagged unemployment, poverty, crime, and weak institutions in Egi, the correlations and way forward. So what I basically discussed there was capacity building. There are a lot of graduates in Egi, but they don't have jobs. Why don't they have jobs? It's not that there are not jobs somewhere outside Total, but because they don't have experience to match to the requirement of those jobs. So can we build the capacity of this youth by, enrolling them for short courses, some training skill, professional programs to add to their CV and experiences, so that when they are invited for an interview, they have something better to offer in addition to the certificate they acquire.
Very well. Now, when they are invited to an interview so that they will be qualified to work in those areas where there is conflict of peace, how do you look at this?
Yes, like as I said, for now, there is a relative peace at Egi. Now, what we needed to do is to provide opportunity to engage hands, so that if the hands are engaged, the chances of thinking of devising one evil or the other would not be there. Now, because there is relative peace, the ground is set for somebody who wants to advance, promote, and deepen the peace to enter into those communities and talk about it. 2 days ago, I was at Obogun where I celebrated my wife's birthday. It was a wonderful one. As a matter of fact, I turn around and I see us park people. There is a relative peace in Egi, but my worries is that where you see men carrying guns, walking all about to ensure that there is peace, is a signal of danger. When can we return back to the olden days where nobody carries gun to ensure that there is peace in Egi? That is only when there is human security, when there is economic security, when the people are included in the decision-making process of matters that affect them.
Now, do you think the problem we have, the insecurity or the fragile security we have now, do you think Egi on its own can solve it?
I believe strongly that Egi can solve the problem. First of all, let me give you a practical example.
Go ahead.
When the issues was ranging at Egi from 2012 to 2019, there was SARS, there was police, there was army you could think of. They were all coming to Egi once in a while, but they couldn't solve the issue until the community people rise up. The only difference, something new that has happened to Egi and Oba since 2012 till today is the local security outfit known as OSPAC. Because they are committed to the job of maintaining security and order in Egi, that's why we have the fragile peace. I strongly believe that Egi people can solve the problem. One, bring out a master plan, an economic master plan. Be committed to it and to achieving it. We unveiled the master plan of Sombrero University far back 2011 or 12 thereabout. Up to today, nothing has happened. We unveiled the master plan for building a polythene industry at Obagi. They built it to an extent. Now they have stolen all the machines they kept there.
The program was on. In fact, the production had even started before the flood of 2012 came and swept the whole thing away.
There was a proposed ceramic industry at Obobron.
Yes.
Now I learned it has been shifted to Erema. Meanwhile, bulk of the materials we need for the ceramic industry is in abundance at Obobron.
Yes.
Now there was a proposed a bakery factory at Obogun. There is a proposed bottling company at Akabuka. There is a proposed toothpick industry at Obiebe. The problem is that propose. Which of this one is working?
Fine. That is where security comes in. Before then, Total EMP just few months ago distributed some number of live birds, day-old chicks, to poultry farmers in UML 58. 100 birds each to each farmer.
Yes.
The feed, the vaccines, everything was given. And a lot of them turned out because we went for an M&E, program to evaluate all this. And a lot of farmers testified that they were okay with that.
Yes.
Now, recently, they also distributed snail to some farmers, to some interested farmers. They also distributed a lot of cassava stems, improved vitamin A cassava stems to the local farmers, for which farmers are rejoicing now. Now, these are short-term economic, programs.
Yes.
Now, the ones who are talking about ceramic, this, that, bottling company, these are long-term economic plans for which the Gay People's Assembly is actually looking at. Fine. Given all these things, given all these processes, everything like you just explained is hinged on the peace of Egi. What steps do we need to take to restore total peace? Though there might not be total peace anyway, but relative peace that can embrace all these economic activities so that Egi will come back to
all right.
its footing.
I would like to briefly hint on those agro-based development projects that Total has done in the King of Recent, such as those day-old chicks and the snail and all that. Yeah. On the 26th of January, I was privileged to present a seminar to Egi Women Welfare Association at Obiozimi.
Yes.
The title of the seminar was Surviving in a Changing Environment. Now, what I want to point out was that after my presentation, I released my number to the people. A good number of people that benefited from the programs called me and told me that at some point in time they had technical issues, such that some say their snail has laid egg, they don't know what to do with the egg. Some say at some point in time their snail was dying and they didn't know who to contact and what to do to save the snail. Some decided to eat the snail instead of losing all. And then you come around again to talk about the pro-vitamin cassava stem.
Yes.
That's also interesting, but I told them, but it is not good to do the new thing in the old way. Who has provided these local women? Of course, you know that a good number of them are not educated. So they need a number of time to learn the new thing. Otherwise, they would like to do it in the old way. And if they do the new thing in the old way, from where do we have a hope of success?
Very well. Now, at that point, the blame now partly or in greater percentage goes to them, because I remember vividly, I'm not the spokesman of Total EMP. However, I remember vividly where Total EMP gathered these these farmers, gave them lectures on how to go about these new breeds. They taught them for at least 2-3 days. Some of them, in fact, all of them were given equal opportunities to ask questions where they don't understand. Even if you are illiterate, you should come with your literate person, at least to listen and jot some things down. Now go into practicals and get this thing done. How will they begin at last to begin to? And then the numbers of the contact person, the agri consultant of Total EMP was there, was given. So that if you have any problem, any lacuna, you call the field officers of Total. They will come to your aid. They will come to your rescue. That's what is happening there. Rather than calling them, they begin to call you. Anyway, it's not wrong to call you anyway. But if this discussion had been held before now, I would have said, okay, redirect them to the agri consultant. Don't you think so?
Yeah, of course, I try to make them understand that there are plans on ground for feedback. There should be someone you should contact in case you're having any difficulties.
Yeah.
I was told by someone that the man who is to guide them on the snairy business is coming from Warri or something. So such a distance, how does it help matter?
No, but
in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is that I applaud Total. Okay. They are exceptional. Their corporate social responsibility is interesting, but the problem we have is the people. The people, either the followership or the leadership, both there are issues. Like as I said here, some of these people, you teach them now, they forget what you've taught them, they are confused in the next time of applying this in. You who is designing a program for a particular set of persons should understand the people you are designing the program for.
First.
That's the first thing. Okay. According to Claude Ake, development, the ideal development takes the people as they are and not as they ought to be. So if you take the people as they are, understanding that some of these people are uneducated, you should know that educating them is not 1 or 2 times, 3 times outing. It is a continuous something. You move them to the field, show them practically this is how you do it. No longer you sit down maybe in one comfortable place and explain to them, and when they get to the farm they are confused, they don't know what to do.
And do a 3D demonstration.
That's the problem.
Or a slide. Okay, fine.
Problem.
Well, that's all right. You see, that is the reason why Total has some field officers. Commitment. What is the place of commitment in this manner, in what we are discussing?
Yes, commitment is very, very important. Without commitment, nothing can work. What makes... I remember that I told the Gay Women Welfare Association that the difference between a successful man and unsuccessful man is that it's not about what you do, because a successful man and unsuccessful man could be doing the same thing, but one is successful and the other one is not. But the time factor, knowledge, how you do a thing is very, very important. Now, if we talk about the way and manner some person go about their activities at Egi, as a matter of fact, their mind is not even there. They are just taking it because some people are taking it. So there is this lack of commitment.
That's it.
Now, this lack of commitment, if you ask me, partly results from when there is a mismatch between what an individual expects and what is being given. That's where I say whether those programs withdraw, does it really reflect the economic need assessment of the people? The people want something else and you're giving them something else. They receive it because the other one is not available, so they just take it. And then the same disappointment they already had before receiving the material goes a long way to kill the business.
Fine. Before ever Total will do anything, or before ever they will do, the community will do anything, there is this needs assessment, there is this engagement between Total and the community. It is based on what the community will require, what they need, what they want. Now Total will say, okay, fine, let's have a proposal. And the consultant will now receive the proposal, look at it. Like now, there is this guy who is talking about rice farming and all that. Now, they have looked at it. Okay, fine, let's look at rice, because rice is costly. The federal government closed the borders, no more importation of rice and all that. If a man or a woman develop the interest of doing that and Total provides the platform, what's wrong about that?
Now, I overheard you talking about how rice farming is possible within the OMF 58. Has it escaped our memory that NDDC cited a rice farm at Obukegi, which produced massively? So why is somebody now telling me we want to try if rice can be grown?
No. The issue is not the person coming to try. The person has already seen, he has demonstrated here in Port Harcourt and has seen the rice farm, and it's okay. So it was that because I have the knowledge of rice growing in my area, I sold the idea to him. He said, okay, fine, let's try other places within the OMF 58.
All right.
And of course,
he's
right now talking with the oil company to see whether they can invest in that.
That's good.
So,
but what you said is in line with my own suggestion on how we should go about developing again.
Fine.
I do not have the trust in this factory, this polythene that, polythene this, polythene that at again. There's a problem with that. There's a common saying at our place that a goat that is owned by a community often starves to death. That problem is why I am scared of all this factory, that factory, this factory, that. Can we call for indigenes who have some entrepreneurial idea, some business idea, that if we roll them out, has certain employability chances and profit chances for the people? Once that happens, we harvest it, make the person the sole employer of that same, and he runs the business. If he is to take a 1% or 5% of the profit he takes, the rest goes back to again people or Total. Now, it will help us to have one hand running that business, that hand we can hold accountable, than leaving those investments into the hands of a political leaders that will come in and go out, and all of them are after what will benefit them now.
Okay, fine. What advice do you have for Total in one hand? What advice do you have for Ege in the other hand?
For Total,
yeah,
I want to first of all say a very big thank you to Total. You are doing well. You are exceptional compared to other multinational oil companies in Rivers State and in Nigeria as a whole. Keep on the good work. The corporate social responsibility programs and community development programs are excellent. They are wonderful. But the only challenge I have with Total is, if you have a program, you do program evaluation to see the success of the program you have. If that program does not yield the desired success or fruits you had in mind before embarking on that program, ask questions or discontinue with that program. That's one thing I think Total is not really paying much attention to, see how the money they are rolling out to again leaders is being spent, whether it's really producing the desired results. They keep rolling out and out and out. That is where we are clapping for them. But checkmating this program to see that it has evaluating this program to see if it has achieved those results is one area that Total is lacking behind. Now for again people, yeah, I think basically what we have in again is institutional problem. And as institutional problem, people are always tempted to point at the leaders as the cause. I beg to differ. Institutional problem is a product of leadership and followership. According to Hegel, a German philosopher, he said, government is an aggregate spirit of the people. When you see a strong government, that's because there's a strong people. When there is a weak followership, you see a weak leader. A weak leader can only last in the office where the followership is weak. Fix institutional problem in again, fix leadership problem in again.
CSR Digest will come your way again next week, God willing. Until then, I have to thank my guest Collins Brown for appearing on this program, because once again we're going to call you next time to come and reel out some of these developmental issues for gay people and Total EMP. From this end, I thank you so much. My name is Ndum Ajay. Have a wonderful weekend.